Hey, what's up, guys? Here on the Fire Sports Pod, I'm your host, Zach Jackson. Here's my guest host and my friend Joe. I appreciate Joe for coming on. We just finished our audio show just a little bit ago. Talked about his story with Vince Carter. We talked about TikTok about to be banned and the reason why social media and how that affects people as a whole. But I appreciate Joe for coming on. Thanks again, man.
Yeah, no problem, Zach. Thank you for having me.
Hey, anytime, anytime. So let's get right to it. We got three segments. We're going to change it up. We're going to be talking about sports, but we're going to be talking about it in a whole different category. Our first segment today, we got three segments. Our first one, we're going to be going over me and Joe's top 10 basketball players of all time. Our second segment, we're going to go into our top five, our favorite or think all-time starting five lineup in the NBA of all time. And then we're going to go over our two favorite players from all time to now in the NFL. So let's get right to it, Joe. So I'm going to have my guest. I usually have my guest go first. So I'm going to have my guest, Joe, go first and his top 10 all-time players in the NBA. So hold on.
Thanks, Zach. So obviously, it's always been a controversy between who's the GOAT of the NBA, who's second, and so on and so forth. But for me personally, it just has to be Michael Jordan. Yeah, it's like, oh, it's redundant. Yeah, Michael. Everyone says Michael or LeBron. But just for me, no, it's not really heard of, if not ever heard of, that someone goes 6-0 in the in the NBA Finals, never loses. um, 6-time Finals MVP, 5-time NBA MVP, 14-time All Star. So you get the gist. He his impact on the game is little to none. It's just so inspirational to millions from multiple generations. So then on that note, for me, number two would be LeBron. Everyone knows who LeBron is, what he's accomplished. Obviously, just set the all-time NBA point leader, which will be broken one day, maybe. Who knows? He's still going strong. 20-time NBA All Star, 4-time NBA champ. So he has the credentials. I don't have to go into that. For number three, for me, would have to be Kareem. Obviously, there's Wilt, there's Bill Russell, there's numerous that can go up on this list. But for me, number three would have to be Kareem. Four, obviously, Diesel would probably have to be Shaquille O'Neal.
Big boy
Um,
Shaq.
Big boy Shaq. You know, I was a little torn between who would be four and five. Um, Obviously, both played for the same franchise. So four would be Shaq. Five would be Magic. Magic, probably, if not the best point guard of all time. 6'9", you can't really compare.
Question, if I
Yeah.
can interrupt for 2 seconds. Who do you vote as the best point guard ever? Steph Curry or Magic Johnson? Remember, we're talking about 6'9", yeah, 6'2", but we're talking about who changed the game of basketball. Steph really
Well,
changed the
who
whole.
changed the game of basketball? They both did, but for me personally, Steph obviously more.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because he does a little bit of everything. Magic did a little bit of everything, but he was more of a facilitator on the
Yep.
floor. Magic.
So
Steph
who
does
would you say is the best point guard ever?
Yeah, but who is the best point guard ever? When you look at an all-around point guard, no one's expecting someone to be 6'9". You're thinking more of like a small forward, a power forward, um, type status. If you're looking at 6'9", but in Magic Johnson, he had a little bit of everything. For Steph, only being what is he 6'3", six? Is he
Six
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 three?
two six two and a half 6'3", 6'3", six
Yeah,
three.
around there. So
Yeah,
it's a pretty big difference when you look at point guard. And Steph
yeah.
Curry is obviously known for his shooting capabilities.
He's the best
But
shooter of all time.
yeah, best shooter of all time, hands down. So they both have their individual expertise that beats one another. But overall, point guard, I'd probably have to go with Magic just because of his dominance and again, his height is just so unique for a point guard. Yes, obviously the times are different when Magic
Yeah.
played, Steph's playing. Two totally different eras, but obviously a lot of people talk about, oh, this era was easier, this one's harder, but it's all up for debate. Um, but definitely overall, I'd probably have to say Magic.
Gotcha.
Tops If we were talking about shooting guards, obviously, Steph's not even known as a shooting guard, but as shooter, like I would still put Steph in that category above Magic, obviously. But to go off of that, so I would have Shaq at 4, Magic coming in at 5, and then obviously you can't have a top 10 without like the big fundamentals. So that would be Tim Duncan.
That's 6.
5, yeah, and that number 6, 5-time NBA champ.
Yeah.
Not mistaken. And obviously Hakeem the Dream coming at 7. Now Larry Bird at 8. For me, I think that's pretty signified. I'm pretty sure I'm confident in that
A
in
lot
that
of people
spot.
have Larry Bird higher than that, so I think you're really good with
You
that. I
know,
like
a
Larry
lot of
Bird.
people have Larry Bird top 5. A lot of people have him 6 and 7, just out of the top 5.
Some people have
Obviously,
him at like 4.
yeah, no, and like that's fine. You
Yeah.
know, Larry Bird's definitely changed the game during his time. He hasn't played 20 plus seasons, and a little off the rail here. It's just kind of impressive in a way, I guess, for one person. But for Draymond, he actually just passed Larry Bird, which I just saw recently on social media, in 3-pointers made. Do I feel like that's a huge accomplishment? Yeah, you could say so.
Yeah,
'Cause
but
we
at
know
the
that
same time, I'm like, it's very weird to
it is
say that
very weird.
Draymond has passed Larry Bird.
It is very weird. But obviously, if you watch Larry Bird highlights, he's always been a mid-range shooter, down low. At that time, he wasn't shooting a lot of threes. He's known for shooting, and he can shoot almost better than anybody, fundamentally wise. So obviously, Larry Bird will always be in my top 10 for me. Now, this next one, number 9, will definitely be controversial, which will be Kevin Durant, number 9. Why didn't he put Kobe in the top 10? That's up for debate. Kevin Durant's just one of those players that's like what else do you want out of an NBA player? You know what I mean? um, is his defense the greatest? You know, maybe not, but definitely like as a shooter, mid-range 3, no one he barely gets blocked. Barely you can barely defend him sometimes because of his length, and I just think I had to put him there just because of how effective he's been over the years. And I think for my generation, just being able to watch him from the start definitely had an impact on me. I'm not taking anything away from Kobe or Oscar Robertson or anything. Like they're definitely in people's top 10, if not top 5 of all time. Obviously, it's up for debate. Maybe get some backlash for it. That's fine. But it's all a personal top 10. This is what people like to talk about
Yeah,
and see. Oh, you don't always want to hear the same people in the top 10.
exactly. You want to
It
see
might
something different.
fail. You want to hear some different opinions. I'm not saying different names to stir up controversy, but it's just personal. Um, again, not taking away anything from any other NBA stars. Now, 10 personally was Vince Carter because the impact that he's had on my life. I'm pretty sure not many people have Vince Carter in their top 10 of all time. Probably name maybe 1 or 2 people that I know would have in the top 10. But for me, just his overall impact on my life definitely would need to have him in my top 10 personally.
And Vince Carter is your favorite player, correct?
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
Definitely
that's
all time.
good. Yeah, as you guys could see in the back, Joe has a Vince Carter. He told that story on the audio show on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you guys are not able to get Apple Podcasts and Spotify, I am going to start something different. I am going to be taking the audio show and posting that on the YouTube under podcast, so you guys can actually check out Joe's story, and then our little discussion, like we said earlier, about the TikTok ban and so social media. But he will explain on that audio show on Apple Podcasts and Spotify what was the whole reason behind why he has a Vince Carter jersey and that dollar bill that's up in the right corner of that frame. It's a compelling story. It's a good story, and if you love basketball and you love your NBA player, favorite players, you would love to be in his situation, what he was to. So I'm not going to spoil it for you guys. You got to do it. You got to watch it. So go watch it on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. But shortly after the show, I will post that audio clip on the YouTube show as well under podcasts. You guys can check that out. But Joe, now it is my turn for the top 10, correct?
Yeah, can't wait to hear this.
All right. So for my top 10, I got for one, I think me and Joe both have the same one. We're both with Michael Jordan. Then number two, we're both with LeBron. I'm the biggest LeBron fan out there. I don't think anyone is as big as a LeBron fan I am. I was there when he won. I was very few, other than the people in fucking Cleveland. I was really the only people that really thought that LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers could come back from 3-1 deficit, and no one has ever done it. And I told everyone in my school, and when I was in middle school, no one believed in me. So I was like king shit when I came back to middle school after they won that 3-1 comeback. So I've known everything from LeBron. I've worn almost every shoe that LeBron James has had. I have multiple jerseys of LeBron when he was in Cleveland, when he came back, when he was with I had one when he was with Miami. Got too small. I have one with the Lakers when he wore number 6. I have one with the Lakers when he wore number 23. I have an Anthony Davis. So I'm a big Lakers and LeBron fan. Lakers was my team. My dad was his favorite team. I took upon what my dad's teams was. That's why my Cowboys, Lakers, New York Rangers, Yankees. But for college basketball in Kentucky, because he went there, and then Ohio State is just the first college football game I ever watched. And then for soccer, I'm a Brazil fan. I just loved Brazil at the time when I started watching it, and that's why I love them. So, but yeah, that's a little synopsis of what I like as a team. But to get back to the top 10, I got Jordan, LeBron, 3. I'm going to go with Kareem. I think just Kareem is just, when you just look at his height, you just look at the sky hook. I mean, he created a shot that everyone still to this day uses in the NBA. And now it's like, it's not even a thing. It's like people just regularly do it. Jackson Hayes does it. All the big men do it. And it's like, what? But no one did it with the finesse that Kareem did it. It was like beautiful when he did it. It was like what you do with a tomahawk slam or like a windmill dunk. It's kind of like the sky hook. And it's pretty cool to see if you actually watch a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar when he made those shots. It's great to see. But now you move on for number 3. At number 4, I have a little bit different. We have the same people in the 4 and the 5 spot. It's just in a different place. I have Magic at 4, and I got Shaq at 5. Like he said, Magic, 6'9" point guard, can really do everything on the basketball court. I'm going to have to disagree. I would say that Magic is second behind Steph. I just think the shooting, what he's done to the game of basketball, not dissing Magic, he's done phenomenal stuff. People, when in your generation, when they were growing up, they were like, "Oh, I want to be like Magic with the passing, whatever." Allen Iverson was the same thing. I want to be like Magic. He wanted to be like Mike, but Mike was his guy. He loved Mike. LeBron, same thing. He wanted to be like Mike. And then Kobe, same thing. He literally implemented everything that Jordan did. Kobe did it. So, it's always what's your preferences. So I would say Steph Curry is for me the best point guard ever. I just think his shooting ability. But Joe, you can chime in.
The reason why I say Magic would be the best, not taking anything away from Steph, obviously, like such inspiration, both are. But when you talk about best point guard, you have whatever the first thing that comes to mind is Magic. 9 times out of 10, you're not just going to say, "Oh, Steph," and that's it. You will bring up, okay, but yeah, to think about Magic. If you watch the NBA, if you've been a basketball fan for a good amount of time, and you know your stuff, you know your information, you will talk about Magic regardless.
Oh yeah, and like I said, I'm not dissing Magic. I just think, from my personal opinion, it's just everyone talks about Magic, but right now the thing is for me is like you can't be LeBron, you can't be Magic, You can be Steph because he is 6'2", not hugely tall, even though 6'2" is huge, but he's not 6'8", 6'9", 215 pounds of pure muscle that can go down and dunk on you. Magic skill of like a freaking power forward, but he's a point guard in general. You can't be that unless you have those genetics. Steph, you can become Steph. Not saying anyone can become the shooter, but everyone can shoot. No one can pass really like Magic, and no one can be LeBron. There's never going to be another LeBron. I don't want to hear anything. No one's going to be able to even touch LeBron. There's no one at that size that can move that fast and have that much ability at his height, his age, and his weight, and for that long. It's going to be impossible. They even put the thing on First Things First. The one with one of the shows during the morning. They put the thing with who has the chance to catch LeBron. Kevin Durant. He's got to average like 28 something points a game. They can't miss. He's got to play like 70 games a year for the next like 10 to 12 years to even catch LeBron. And he's still moving forward. Luka's got to average like 33 points to catch him.
It's not impossible for Luka. Obviously, it's still fair.
It's not. Young. But the problem is that, like we said, he gets injured. The Dallas Mavericks use him so much. They use him more than LeBron got used. I mean, LeBron got used, but it looks like Luka has the ball with his hands every time, brings it up, shoots the thing, holds the possession. Dude, he does everything. So for him to say, I would love Luka, and I think Victor Wembanyama could do it, but he's got to stay healthy. The problem with his height doesn't do well in the NBA when it comes to health. They do well, and then they just stop dropping down.
You remember Yao Ming?
Dude, he was one of the greats. He is one of the greats, but he got injured and everything got substantially lower and lower and lower, and then he had to retire. So
it's very early to say his capability. He's got it.
He's not going
to fault the young man, but he has to stay healthy. He looks like he's gaining some muscle. He's
not Chet, though. Chet came in there like a skinny twig. He came in there with built. I saw definition in his arms and his legs. He looked like a basketball player. Chet now put on some muscle, but he still looks like a twig. That's why Victor Wembanyama kills him. Excuse my language, but he bitches him every fucking time they play. He kills him. Because Victor Wembanyama has size. He has build. He's not a skinny twig, even though he looks like one. But he's got size. He's got definition. Chet never had it, and he still really doesn't have it. So that's the only thing you got to be weary. But we're getting off topic. But I appreciate you chiming in, Joe. But yeah, that's just my opinion when it comes to Steph and Magic. So I have Magic at the 4, Shaq at the
Shaq at 5.
Yeah, Shaq at the 5. At the 6th spot, I'm going to have to go with, damn. See, I should have wrote it down like you said. The 6th spot, I have to go with probably, do you remember what my 6 was?
Well, one of them was Bill Russell and one of them was Hakeem.
Okay, so. Yeah. All right, so yeah, I think 6, I remember. 6 was Bill Russell. 7 was Hakeem Olajuwon. 8 was Larry Bird. 9 was Oscar Robertson.
Yeah.
And then 10, I'm gonna might switch it, but I might actually I'm gonna stick with it. I got Wilt at 10. I was gonna put Tim Duncan in there, but I don't know.
That's up for debate.
That's a close one. But I got 10 Wilt. Probably I would go 11 would be Kobe. 12 I would probably go Steph. 13 maybe Tim Duncan. 14 I would probably go maybe I can go 14.
So now we're doing top 15.
Well, I mean, I was just gonna go with the flow. Yeah. Before 14 I would put Kevin Durant at 15. I would keep him at the 15 spot. Yeah, I would keep Kevin Durant. Like you said, we have never seen a guy at 7 foot, almost 7 foot like that can do what he can do as a point guard. And I think he's great. I just don't like the things he did to get his championships. I think he should have took it the way, even though LeBron started a bit, but LeBron was different, bro. He took his teams to the finals, and they just were terrible to him. They didn't put nobody around him. They put nobody. Dude, I can't even name you the finals matchup when he played back in 2008 when he went to the finals against or the conference final against Boston and the finals against the Spurs and all these guys. I can't name the starting five because that's how bad they were.
Zadrunas Ilgauskas and
yeah, like who the fuck is that? Yeah. I can't even name those guys. So 15, I would go Kevin Durant. 14, I'm a little stuck. I probably might go with I don't know. Who do you think I could go at 14?
No, I thought you were naming 10 to 15. Now you're going back down.
No. I did. I named already 10 to 15, and I missed 14.
Okay.
So I put Kevin Durant at 15.
Yeah, 10 was Wilt. 11
was Kobe.
Was Kobe. 12 was
Steph. 13 was Tim Duncan. 14, and then 15 was Kevin Durant. 14, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's many that you can choose from, but again, that's personal.
What? No, give me a couple names, and I'll say the 14th.
Well, for me, which will get backlash, I didn't put Bill Russell even in my top 10, which is not really heard of. But for 14, just naming names here.
Oh, you know what? Would you consider if Jokic wins the third MVP with the championship, his top 15 of all time? No one has ever done that. 3 MVPs at his size with a chip.
I'd put him probably top 20.
Top 20? All right, I got you with that. So 14, what do you think?
I'm drawing a blank here, but
yeah, me too.
Maybe put one of your favorite players. If obviously not LeBron, obviously not Curry, but put someone in there that's been inspirational for you. Put someone that like has been clutch. You could put Ray Allen. You could put Reggie Miller. You could put.
You know what? Thanks. I actually that's the one I was gonna eat. I would put Dame in there, but he ain't even close.
Oh, probably.
I would love to put Dame in there because I think he's the second. I think he's a better shooter, long range. His statistics are way better than Steph Curry when it comes to long range jump shots from really far.
Is it necessary? Huh? Is it necessary to have like a shot from 35 feet out when all you need is from like, what is it, 25 to 28 feet out for a three?
No. I meant like half court deep. Once he's more consistent than Steph Curry is. So I would love to put him in, but at the same time, he doesn't have a championship. All the guys some of them don't.
Just about.
Huh?
Just about all of them.
Just about all of them have one. So I'm going to put Ray Allen in there at 14.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ray Allen, other than Steph Curry, you got Reggie Miller, but I think Ray Allen he's the second, one of the best shooters of all time, if
top
not
five. Yeah.
Top 5 of all time. So yeah, that's.
Want to talk about shooters? That's a different.
That's a different topic. But we got 2 more segments, so just run through your next 5, so you can do 15. So you have 10, and then you put 11 and to 15, and then we'll move on to our next.
11 to 15. Okay, I'm gonna stop discrediting the most winning player of all time.
Thank you. So put Bill Russell.
I'm not gonna go much further of putting him back there. It's not right. And I wanted to put him in my top 10, but if I'm going off of personal, Bill Russell 11.
Mm-hmm.
Big Oscar Robertson 12. Kobe. Okay, that's up for debate, but no, maybe okay. Kobe 12, Oscar Robertson 13. Yeah.
You gonna put Tim Duncan at 14?
No, Tim Duncan is in the top 10.
Oh, he is. Yes. I forgot.
Number 6. Yep. I had to put him in there. But 11 to 15, so it would be Bill Russell 11, 12 Kobe, 13 Oscar Robertson, 14 personally, wow. I wasn't going that far back, but I'd probably no, I'd probably have to agree. Ray Allen 14.
Okay, and then 15 would be Steph.
Ooh, wait a minute.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
didn't put Steph
Yeah,
in
because I
there.
put him in the top 10, so
Would you
yeah.
put 14 Steph and then Ray Allen 15?
Yes.
So 14
Actually, yeah.
Steph, Ray Allen 15.
Yep. Bill
That's
Russell.
not bad. I think we kind of have the same players, it's just in different order.
It's yeah, a little mixed around. So Bill
Other than
Russell.
Vince Carter, I forgot to help your man out, but that's that's your personal guy.
Yeah, definitely. But also, you can't say like what he has not accomplished. Does he have an NBA title? No. But what he's done in the NBA dunk contest, the longevity of his career. Did he like drop down in points per game and everything as the years went on? Yeah. But also playing 22 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Definitely for me, just a lot of respect. And also another one for top 15, which I didn't really think of. You could also put Dirk in there. Dirk Nowitzki.
I probably would put him 16.
Okay, all right. But yeah, that's my.
But
11.
I'm just saying, I'll probably put him 16.
Yeah. No one can go with the fadeaway like he does.
No,
Barely ever
I
does.
know. I would put him at 15, but I just think Kevin Durant is just that bit better than him.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I just think
Another
his
one for
move.
debate.
Huh?
That's another topic for
Yeah,
debate.
exactly. So there's the thing. Well, we're just gonna keep it at 15 because we'll just keep going to like 30 to 50. We don't got time for that. So we're 27 minutes in. We're gonna move on to our second segment. Is our our best starting lineup ever in basketball. So let's get right to it. Joe, you're my
You want me to
guest.
go first?
Yep. What's your top 5 best lineup?
So I know we were talking about it a little bit last night, and I was kind of mixed in between two. At first it was 3, but eliminated one.
You gotta say one.
If I can say one, impact on the game overall since he came into the league and still doing it at such a high level, if not top 3 in the league right now, it would have to be Steph. At first, I had John Stockton at probably one of the best point guards of all time. He is, but I would have to say Steph Curry for best point guard of all time. And obviously, there's no surprise. Number 2 would be Michael Jordan. 3, LeBron. I'll give him the credit where credit's deserved. 4, Tim Duncan, and then 5, Kareem.
Okay.
Just overall, you have those two powerhouses down low. LeBron does his thing. MJ, no explanation for that. And Steph, if you give him the ball, sets screens all day on him, lobs it all day to Kareem down low, and the end is history. But for me, Steph, MJ, LeBron, Tim, and Kareem.
I like that. I like that starting 5. I think that's a great starting 5. You definitely can go 82-0 with that starting 5.
Oh no, for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Now for my starting 5, ladies and gentlemen, children of the corn, here we go. First up, 1, we're gonna have the same guy, Steph Curry. 2, we're gonna have the same guy, Michael Jordan. 3, we're gonna have the same guy, LeBron James. 2, here's the difference. For me, I'm gonna have Shaq. No, I'm gonna have Bill Russell at the 4, Shaq at the 5. That's my top 5, ladies and gentlemen.
And now Zach knows how I feel about with Bill Russell and Shaq.
Well, you said Shaq would be better at the 4, and then Bill Russell would be better at the 4 and Shaq at the 5.
But just having Bill Russell in an all-time 5, how Bill Russell, he can definitely hold his own, but against some of the people that can be on this list and who he would go up against.
Wait, hold on. You're telling me Bill Russell, you take Tim Duncan over Bill Russell? Watch yourself, Joe.
As an overall,
R.I.P. the big man, Bill Russell. He's up there. He's watching this.
No, yeah. No, I know. Definitely. Not discrediting him whatsoever. I can't. and whoever does, oh man. But for me personally, just Tim Duncan, his presence. Bill Russell had a presence, on the floor, but I think just Tim Duncan's IQ on everything, defensively, offensively, you know, I just think for me, Tim Duncan and Kareem, I just think that they'd be like this, and
No, I think
I,
it's a good tandem. I think it would be great.
I think, but
Duo right
Shaq
there.
can definitely body, if not everybody in existence, in his prime, whether he was on the Heat or the Lakers or the Magic. But
Now,
anyway,
I got a question.
yeah,
Now, let me see if I can counter your starting five with somebody different. So it's
sure,
not the same starting five. So you
sure,
have Steph Curry, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Tim Duncan, Kareem.
yeah,
At my one, I'm gonna go with Allen Iverson.
hmm
Allen Iverson. Whoa. Hold up. Never mind. At my one, Magic Johnson.
okay,
At two, I'm gonna go with Kobe Bean Bryant to match
okay,
up with Michael Jordan.
yeah, yeah, okay,
Number three, I'm gonna go with the Slim Reaper, Kevin Durant, to match up with LeBron. Now, number four, you have Tim Duncan, correct? I'm gonna go with Dirk Nowitzki.
okay.
And then number five, I'm gonna go with Hakeem Olajuwon.
That's the one that would probably be the best face
See,
to
I
face.
was gonna change what's it called? I probably would change Dirk to maybe Shaq.
But you
So
already
I would
have Shaq. You already have Shaq.
no, I don't
But
have you
obviously
don't no
Shaq.
no you don't have Shaq. No, I
No,
was saying I was gonna change it to have something counter yours.
yeah,
So we
okay,
don't
just
have
in
the
general. I
same
thought you were
five.
gonna go against something that
Oh,
you didn't
mine
have.
too. Then mine too. I would still. I would probably go with Dirk, just because Tim Duncan is fundamental. Dirk is not the same, but very similar. He does the fadeaways. He's very similar in the ways that he doesn't dunk on you. He doesn't do scoring, but he'll lay it up. He'll do different type of fadeaways, bank shot, similar to what Tim Duncan does. So I think that matches up pretty well. And then
Hmm.
Hakeem versus Kareem, I would love to see that matchup. And then you got LeBron versus Kevin Durant. We had that matchup in the finals. We saw how that went. You have Michael Jordan versus Kobe Bean Bryant. We've seen that. And then you got Magic Johnson for Steph Curry. I mean,
Which
I think
Kobe, obviously everyone knows that Kobe was doing the same moves that Michael Jordan did. You know what I mean? It's
yes.
a lot of
So
similarities.
I have a shot. I think I got a shot
You
in the
know,
5-5 game.
I'm not saying you don't,
I
but
think I got a shot in my 5-5 game. I think it's gonna be. I think that game will be fan fucking tastic if you were able to
Kareem,
ever see that.
Kareem and Hakeem,
Oof.
definitely that's a matchup that'd be millions would
I
want to
just
see.
think if I put Shaq against Tim Duncan, I'm sorry, Tim Duncan's gonna die.
Oh, of course.
It's
Well,
gonna. I
he'll
didn't
hold
want
his
to
own
over.
really well.
Yeah, but I didn't want to overpower your squad, so I rather keep with everyone that's very similar. So Hakeem versus Kareem matches up pretty well. Dirk versus Tim, I think matches up pretty well. LeBron versus Kevin Durant, I think that matches up great. Michael Jordan versus what's it called? Kobe Bryant, I think matches up really well. The only thing matchup that I think is ass is 6'9" Magic Johnson versus 6'3" Steph Curry, but one can shoot better than the other. So really, it's kind of neck and neck.
And while Steph Curry's moving all around the court, setting up
Exactly. So I
screens.
think you probably got that matchup. You probably have the Michael Jordan one, but Kobe's right there. You got.
But
It's
there's
hard to say, bro.
there's
You know
two.
what we could do? You know what we could do though? We can run it up in 2K. Have those starting fives and on blacktop and see how we do. Whoever
Yeah,
wins gets the bragging rights for our
yeah.
team that's better.
But to end off this part of the segment, two people. If we're talking about defensively, I think you know where I'm going with this. We talked about one of them last night, who can hold their own just about on anyone, unless they stay out of foul trouble, of course. Would be the big fro Ben Wallace. You know
Mm.
what I mean? But also one that, excuse me, that doesn't get enough credit. Well, maybe they do sometimes. Depends what you're talking about and what conversation. Is Dennis Rodman. So,
Yes.
you
A
know,
lot of people have him in the top 5
oh, what
of all.
top five
No,
all
no, no, no,
time?
no, 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 no. Starting 5. Starting 5. My bad. Starting 5.
35, sure. Yeah, definitely at the number 4,
Yeah.
at least. You know what I mean? Everyone talks about Pippen and Rodman and everything, but probably the best defensive rebounder and defensive player of all time, controversy, you know, it would have to be Dennis Rodman or Ben Wallace can be in the top 5 all time as well. It depends. It depends on the person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. But I do
Yeah.
like that take. I do agree that Ben Wallace and Dennis Rodman and what was it, Robertson? I forgot the first name. You said him last night on the Spurs. Played on the Spurs.
David Robinson.
David Robinson. He deserves a lot more credit than he gets
Oh,
for his
absolutely.
defense
He
and
was
stuff
just
like
a
that. He was a
freak
monster.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So that kills us for our second segment. We are moving on to our last segment here on the Fire Sports Pod. Again, Joe, it's been a great show. We're 36 minutes in, so let's get right to our last segment here on our YouTube show. Are you ready?
Good.
All right. So our last segment, if you guys don't remember from the beginning, we're going to be going over our top 2 all-time and current NFL players. So Joe, as always, you're going to go first.
Yeah, I had that one coming.
Eh,
So for me, 2 players that are like they obviously are well talked about, and you have to give them credit. Everyone's going to talk about favorite players of all time in Tom Brady. Like no credit. Like he is the best quarterback ever. Obviously, you have Joe Montana. You have Dan Marino. You have Eli Manning. You have all these players. Everyone's, you know, all different, and that's up for debate as well. But for me, that really impacted the game literally was Ray Lewis, who he led the Ravens to 2 Super Bowl titles, and um, what else? He reached over 2,000 tackles overall in his career, 31 interceptions, 41 and a half sacks. You know, these numbers speak for themselves. Like it's just freaking nature, like I mentioned,
hell yeah.
and he was menacing to be going up against. You wish you were on his team.
Oh,
And
yes. Especially on that defense. Woof.
quarterbacks, running backs, they were absolutely terrified. Um, to go up against him, I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of
Mm-mm.
one of his tackles
Mm-mm.
for damn sure.
I think
So
he could break both of our backs in if we were standing in neck to behind back to back and he ran into one of us, he would
sure,
break my back and your back.
definitely you're back first, but
Oh yeah, definitely because I'm first. Uh,
but um, but definitely Ray Lewis, just his impact on the game was just second to none. Like everyone respects him. As crazy as he is, you know, it was all for the fans. It was just who he was. He loved the game so much, you know. But for another player, all time, Lawrence Taylor, um, led the Giants to their first Super Bowl title. That's
man,
big. You know
fuck
what I
the
mean?
Giants.
I'm not a Giants fan, but um, and also he won both Defensive Rookie of the Year and NFL Defensive Player of the Year in the same year.
That's crazy.
So it's remarkable just that in itself. Again, his impact on the game, and the Giants as well. I forgot what other team did he play for another team?
I believe so. I'll actually look that up right now.
Right, but definitely for the Giants, Hall of Famer, definitely did his thing, and everyone just has respect for the man. Um, so on that end, those are my 2. What I had just as of now for current would have to be Justin Jefferson.
He
Um,
spent his hold on quick. He spent his entire career playing for the New York Giants.
yeah, for the New York Giants. So I figured that. I wasn't sure if he played for someone else, but yeah, his whole career for one team is just remarkable. Um, a lot of players wanted to try different stadiums, different fan bases, but he stuck with one, and I commend him for that. Like again, I'm not a Giants fan. Do live in Jersey, but you know, um, definitely sticking with one team is not the easiest thing unless you definitely have good fan base around you, good teammates around you.
And you're winning.
Yeah, and you're winners. You want to stick with that culture, so
Yeah.
definitely commend them for that. What I was gonna say, as of currently, I would have to say Justin Jefferson, 128 receptions last season, I believe, over 1,800 receiving yards, first team All Pro. He's killing it. Um,
And he was hurt most of the year last year. The
he
fact
was
that he
hurt.
got over that,
And he was
that's
hurt.
crazy.
Leading the league in receptions, receiving yards up there as well. Just shows what kind of player he is overall and what's still will be as years to come. Hopefully he stays healthy. Um, Another player for me would probably have to be Travis Kelce. Yeah, there's a lot of controversy with him, and then obviously like with Taylor Swift and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But just again, just like when he's on the field, that Patrick Mahomes is looking for his main man, Travis Kelce, on the field. You can't miss him. He's like Gronk out there. You can't miss the big stature of who he is,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
he will benefit down the road in later parts of the game. And he does his job. Like, I can't fault the man. He does his job. Um,
And he does it at a high level too.
does it at a very high level, week in, week out. So, for me, those were my two favorite players of all time. Not discrediting Tom Brady. You can't, you know, but I just probably like for them two, Ray Lewis and Lawrence Taylor, and then Justin Jefferson and Travis Kelce for me.
All right, I like those. I cannot argue with any of them. So for me, my all time, I'm a Dallas Cowboys through and through. So I wish I was able to watch these guys in their primes, but I'm only able to watch highlights, and of the highlights and the stats that I got to see, my favorite two of all time has got to be Deion Sanders, prime time. I mean, how can you forget about this man?
No, you can't.
He's always out there. So I got to go with prime time Deion Sanders. To me, he's the best cornerback to ever walk this planet. I think speed. He could be a wide receiver. He returned kicks. He did everything you asked. He did at a high level. He also played baseball at the same time of playing football. No one has ever done that ever, where he went from playing baseball and then took a plane all the way went from the football game in Atlanta and took a plane all the way to Cleveland to play, or when they played in the World Series. I forgot who they played against. But he was on the Atlanta Braves with the Atlanta Falcons. They had a game, and I think in Miami, and then he went all the way back up to somewhere else up in the East Coast. So it was pretty cool to see. I got Deion, and I'm gonna probably go with yeah, I'm gonna probably go with Emmitt Smith. I'm gonna change it up.
Mhm.
So I got Emmitt Smith. I think he's the best running back. I think he's the best running back of all time. I know Barry Sanders is up there. I just don't think he left the game early. When he was there, he was the best running back without a doubt. But I got Emmitt Smith.
Not to be off. What about Jerome Bettis? What about
No. Like they're great and all. I just think
yeah,
Emmitt Smith. You haven't seen a guy at his stature be able to move between the tackles like that. Only person I see is Barry Sanders. The only thing I say,
yeah.
he hasn't won a championship. He didn't win one, and then he left his team because of for some real reasons. And I watched a documentary on it. Not to fault Barry Sanders. I think personally, if we're looking at overall player, Barry Sanders is the best running back of all time. It's not even close. But Emmitt Smith, of just the championships, the longevity, the amount he's got the most rush yards ever.
Mhm.
I gotta take my boy Emmitt Smith. And the stats back it up. Same with Deion. I mean, two of the best at their position of all time. And I know you got Tony Dorsett, you got Barry Sanders, you got Bettis, you got a lot of guys. But I just got to go with those two as my all-time favorite. And then for current, I got Patrick Mahomes. That's my favorite player. I mimicked my hair. I know you guys can't see it, but if you guys see when I get a haircut, it's basically very almost to the T of what Patrick Mahomes is. I just like the way he is. off the field, on the field. He's a team first player. He does everything for his team. He tries his hardest. He's always there. He's always helping out the young guys with the older guys. So it's great. I like him. I like just the way he approaches the game of football is fantastic. And then we move on to my second favorite. I got to go with CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb's my boy. I love the way he plays. He backs the talk. The only guy that I would say Micah is up there too, but Micah, man, he talks, and sometimes he doesn't back it up. CeeDee, every time he's talked, ever since that 49ers game, he says, I want my targets. When they gave him his targets, that dude was the best wide receiver in the NFL, and it wasn't even close. Tyreek Hill wasn't touching him, not in general. Tyreek Hill is great, but his thing is that he's just speed. You take away the speed, dude, he's not better than CeeDee, bro. The catching ability, the routes, not even close. CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, and Devontae Adams are the only three guys in the end. Now, Puka Nacua, you got to put in there because he had an unbelievable season, but I got to see him replicate that in the second season as well. But those three guys I just named are probably the best wide receivers when it comes to route running. Devontae Adams, I don't care what anybody says. He's been with a bad team. You put him on the Cowboys. You put him on any other good team. He is going to do what he did with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers and him were crazy. His route running ability is great, but up-and-coming guys, Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb are the two best route runners in the NFL. To me, by far. It's not even close. And it just, in general, I think both of them are on top. But Jamar Chase is in there, but he had a down year. Yeah, again, Joe Burrow wasn't up to date. They're looking to think that Justin Jefferson might be moving on from the Vikings because he dropped the $30 million a year contract extension. He might be joining the Bengals. Imagine Joe Burrow with his two wide receivers from LSU, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. Holy crap. And we're talking about with the backfield of Zach Moss. I mean, they lost Joe Mixon, and then you got the tight end. Oof, man, that's a scary team there. But yeah, so those.
Sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, so those are my players for top two. I got Dion, I got Emmett, all time, and then for right now, I got Justin Jefferson. Oh, my bad. Patrick Mahomes and CeeDee Lamb.
So I was gonna say, what is your take? Even though you're not a Giants fan, but what is your take on Saquon going with the Eagles? Like, what do you personally think about that overall?
Well, I hate the Eagles too, but from a non-biased standpoint, I think it was great for Saquon. I think he was just rotting away with the Giants. I think the Giants have no offensive line. They don't give a shit. Daniel Jones is ass. They're going to move him on after this year. They even said it at the draft, at the combine. They're going to try to move him on in the next year or two because of that contract, and then he's just playing bad. So I just think he was rotting away. I wanted him as a Cowboys, but at the same time, he gets injured a lot, and it's not his fault. He was a wear and tear. Him going to the Eagles is going to be dangerous, bro. Their offensive line is off the chains. They've been for the number of years. They've been consistent, the best offensive line in football for the last 2 or 3 years. So I think him under that, yes, they lost Jason Kelce. That's a monster loss, but I still think they're one of the best in the NFL. And with Saquon in the backfield, it is going to be dangerous as hell. Definitely. But at the same time, Saquon don't do shit against the Cowboys, no matter what happens. When they had an okay offensive line, the Eagles' running game doesn't do shit against us when they play against us. It's just Jalen Hurts sometimes just goes off, or Carson Wentz when he's there, or Nick Foles, or any of Michael Vick. All these guys. It was always the quarterback. It really wasn't any of the running game. But
you did see how their season last year unfolded when they did go off to what was their record? 9-1 or something.
9-1. Yep. And then
look what happens. So it doesn't matter. Every team is beatable, no matter what you have. Of course, you saw it. So is it a plus that they got him? Yeah, but what can they do with that? They should go to the playoffs. They should go far. They should be in the Super Bowl. But it's just they should.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah, it's just should. It should be there.
Yeah, I mean. I don't know what's going to happen with the season. The Cowboys haven't made a move. We've made one move, which was re-signed our long snapper, Trent Sieg. Very
Yes.
good guys. We haven't done nothing. We let go Tony Pollard. We let go Tyler Biotish, our backup center. We let go Dorrance Armstrong. He's now at the Commanders with Biotish. Tony Pollard's with the Titans. Michael Gallup is released. He's going to seek a trade. And we haven't got nobody. So I'm waiting. T. Higgins is out there as a number 2 wide receiver. We can bring him on with CeeDee Lamb. I would love that. On top of that, Joe Mixon is still out there. Oh, no, my bad. Joe Mixon's not out there. He's got signed with the Texans. So Joe Mixon is gone. So the only other person I would say, Aaron Jones, he's signing with Minnesota. So there's no one out there. So I don't know what the hell we're doing. I don't know if we're going to stick with Dowell and Deuce Vaughn in the backfield, because if that's the case, we're fucked.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But this is what the Cowboys do. If Jerry Jones does not, and I can't say this what I want to say, because then I'll get banned from TikTok and whatever, and when I post these clips, and get banned from YouTube. But at the same time, dude, if Jerry Jones does not get his head out of his ass and starts doing something, we are going to be so bad next year. It is going to be bad. Our offense is going to be okay because of Dak in the regular season. But if we make the playoffs, we're just going to shit the bed because we don't have a reliable running back. I like Dowell. I don't think he's better than Tony Pollard. I don't think he's better than Zeke, even Zeke at his time. I don't think he's better than any running back that they just picked up. We had a chance to get Derrick Henry. Couldn't get him. And he didn't even want that much. We had a chance to get DeAndre Swift. Couldn't get him. He wanted the same as Pollard. We had a chance to get Josh Jacobs. Couldn't get him. Joe Mixon, Aaron Jones, Zach Moss. I mean, I don't know what the hell we're doing. So that's a little synopsis about the Cowboys, Eagles, and Giants. But if that is the last, you got any more questions for me, Mr. Joe?
No, I think that's it, man.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys tuning into the YouTube show here on the Fire Sports Pod. Again, don't forget to check out my audio show on the Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you don't have the audio show, we will be posting Joe's story about Vince Carter onto our podcast, the podcast tab on YouTube, so you guys could go check that out there. But that's pretty much it, guys, for our YouTube show here on the Fire Sports Pod. I'm your host, Zach Jackson. This is my guest host, Joe. Again, Joe, appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, Zach, for having me.
No problem. So that's it, guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday afternoon, and I will catch you guys on Friday for another splendid and fire YouTube show on the Fire Sports Pod. Peace.